What's up, y'all? So today we are just going to propagate into the realm. As always, right? So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, today, let's talk. Are you okay? You're not letting this extra added on energies affect you, the psychological warfare affect you. Are you okay? You good? You're not. You're not turning into fast spin on a washing machine, are you? You good? Okay. Let's keep it copacetic. Well, today, like I said, let's just talk. The world has changed. It's shifted. All these added on extra energies, the nuances of change in people's psyches and how they think about the world, the many changes that are taking place with the world, and where we are as a collective. It's an interesting time period, to say the least. You can see the many changes. You can feel them, especially now, more so than ever before. Before, we had blinders on. We were living in a world where all politics and everything made sense. It was very linear, and it was purposefully done that way to control. And it would have been very well put together to continue that way if we weren't making strides or people didn't get greedy. Certain people got greedy. They didn't want to pay others to do the work. They wanted to depend on automation and artificial programmed intelligence to control their, well, not even control, to give them a better piece of life.
I haven't all morning, so let's hover over to the driving range.
Nah, we did that yesterday. I don't want to do that.
Well, then what do you want to do?
I don't know. Something.
Well,
Make a place scream.
no, it doesn't sound
Look, I'm tired of
So
it.
we'll talk next week.
If you can't fold the straw, it's not
The
really
episode
side
isn't any
pizza.
good.
What? Over here.
Whoa.
By and large, everything you need to be happy. Your day is very important to us.
Hey, take the cup.
Please remain stationary. A service bot will be here to assist you momentarily.
What's that? What's going on? Hi, Wally.
A is for Axiom, your home sweet home. B is for by and large, your very best friend.
Feel beautiful. Axiom shoppers, try blue. It's the new red.
Give them a better experience while maintaining the most money without having to dish it back out. They are working off of being out of balance, for one. There's no equivalent exchange, even though there is equivalent exchange, because you're giving up something and you don't realize it, but you're giving up something. And now we're here. So where's the balance? You know? Like, where's the overall balance of this? A lot of people are crashing out because they're like, what's next? How's the world supposed to make sense if politics doesn't make sense, if our jobs don't make sense? What's next? Well, that's up to you to decide. How do you want us to proceed forward? You see where the writing is, right? You see where we are, right? How are you yourselves wanting us to proceed forward? We're still trying to make that money, trying to make that bag to have a better life existence so we can buy that boat, so we can buy that house. Listen, there's only a few years of that left where you can do that. They're not giving you any additional incentives to keep this system going. They're probably just as tired of this system as you are. And when I say they, I mean the top echelons of the pyramid, not middle management, because they want to get to the top. It still works for them, but it doesn't make any sense anymore.
The sharpest way to run a business? Plant dreams in employees' minds and let them chase those dreams on their own. With the poor, dangle the promise of wealth. When people are desperate to survive, they'll do whatever it takes to feel secure. Use desire with the lonely. Offer comfort with the foolish. Sell them grand illusions. In the end, the real power isn't money or status, it's mindset. If you often feel out of your depth, struggling to make clear decisions or navigate tricky situations, it's not because you lack ability. It's because you haven't learned the playbook.
Then you got lower tier who really just doesn't want to work. They don't want to do any of that because there's no incentive. There used to be somewhat of an incentives or the illusion of incentives, and now that's gone. So it's like, what's the point of doing my job or working my hardest at a job when there's no real incentive? Retirement isn't what it used to be. Working 30 years isn't what it used to be if you can make it that long without getting canned, fired, laid off. It's pointless. So people are really just kind of lost, and that added energy, that negative energy at that, is just making things so toxic. The world's shifted. People are wanting to care about family, but at the same time, right? At the same time, not wanting to care about their families. It's so much different now. Right? So, where is the incentive? Well, the incentive lies with you. You have to really get to a point in your life where things may not make sense on the outside, but they make sense on the inside. And if they make sense on the inside, what you perceive on the outside will also make sense. If that made sense. Like, man, I can have a bad day. I could say all this extra stuff. Oh, I'm stressed out. But at the crux of it, I know what it is. I know what you see the hands? All of this is. So my day isn't really all that bad because I can home or bring myself back in. And, yeah, this is fake, but you know what? I'm just doing this. Yeah, it's okay. No stress here. But not everyone has gotten to that point. Some people they let that outside energies or outside force or outside themselves, the outer world, dictate what their inner world is like. They mix both of them together instead of keeping them separate or making one more dominant than the other, the more important one more dominant than the other. And so now people are just lost. Again, I kind of went around the question of what the incentive is. When I say it's really what you perceive, I really mean that. The incentive is what you perceive it is. Some people really still follow that bag, and that's their incentive. They don't really care about what all that entails, because once you get to a certain point, a certain threshold, contracts will have to be signed, for one. You'll have to be a workhorse of this system, for two. Whether that be in entertainment, bread and circuses, militaristically, cannon fodder, politically being a shell of corporate entities, which really are just a shell of, you can't even say Masonic, a shell of the pyramid, the pyramidian, whatever you want to call it, of the organization, a shell of the organization. I mean, even with being an educator, that puts you in the political bracket because that is dictated by politics. So you are, in essence, a shell of corporate or the pyramid. And some people don't realize that. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, that's a bad thing. If that's where your heart is, that's where your heart is. I want to educate the kids. You educate those kids to the best of your ability while working in the confines of the curriculum, which ultimately is the dictations of the organization. See how that works? But as long as it makes you happy, you go with it. Because, again, some people, when it makes them happy, that overall is what matters the most. And that will dictate what the exterior is for them. They may not see that. How could they? They don't want to. But it's okay. We can't let that really just diminish who we are. And when I say we, I mean, I'm talking to the individuals who are able to see this. You can't let that diminish you. You can't let that break your will. Oh, God, this system. Oh, no. No, they can't teach these kids this. And if you have little ones, all you can do is bring that balance to them. Don't make them go crazy about it, but, bring that balance. Make sure that they are good psychologically so that they can dictate what the exterior is for them without being manipulated or programmed, as you will, as we were before the blinders were taking off. All you can do is do the best job you can do. Okay? Do the best job you can do. So you're watering this down. You really don't want change. Change comes at the end of a lance in my book. When I say that, I mean that there are things already in place for change to take place, and it is outside of the control of the masses, outside of even my control at this point, because it's programmed to take place. And am I supposed to try and bend it? Absolutely not. Am I going to get shaky about it? Absolutely not. Am I going to prepare for it? Yeah, I'll mentally, yes. Physically, I can. Which, at this point, all you can do is what you can do. Where are you in this pyramid? That will dictate how much you can do or want to do. So, again, you're trying to water this down. You're being a hypocrite. The universe is hypocritical, but sure, watering it down, I have no clue what you're talking about. You want me to hold them fully accountable? I've given information to hold them accountable. Do you want the full information, the scope of how dangerous the pyramid was to the psychological welfare of the mass majority? What do you want me to tell you? I've created this pyramid. Look, it's up to you to decide what's best for you. Okay? Everything is coded now. Well, it was already coded, but everything is out in the open for you to be able to discern what that code means. 144,000, Eden, just all kinds of, well, it's not called Eden, New Jerusalem. When I say the revelation, that's a decodable thing. Oh, Revelations is new. It's not. It's not new. It's not new at all. It's a repeat. It's not new. For those who say it's a new age thing, it is not a new age concept. You got murals that date back to the 1600s, even a little bit before that, that show you that they were already on this wavelength. So, please, give me a different tune, okay? Everything is on repeat. We repeat cycles. Civilization begins. There's a golden era, or an era where it is thriving, falls, and then we repeat that pattern. Why? It's a test. Trying to see which civilization is the best. But why? It's a program. Okay? There's different tiers of the program, different realms in the program, dimensions if you want to call it that, but it's all programmed, okay? We're here three-dimensionally. Talking, writing, fighting. And when you look at your video game, if you are a gamer, what is the premise there? Okay? There's a beginning, there's an end, there's a goal for the ending. You want to be on top at the end. And then what happens? You either put the game down or you restart it. And if you restart it, you begin at the beginning with a new insight, new understanding and overstanding of how to play the game. And you play it differently. You might play it the same way a little bit, but ultimately decisions will be made. And it's a cycle. That's a very simplistic way to think about it. But, you know, that's just the way it is. So, yeah. With that, the organization, the pyramid. You showing them Atlas, right? There's so much you haven't shown them that's in this soul system that it's kind of comical. You give them piecemeal stuff. It's the ships, the small ships, the Tic Tacs, Atlas, Apophis, like, you don't talk about the weather manipulation that you're constantly trying to achieve. You didn't tell them what the overall meaning or goal of CERN was. Okay. They don't know about transmutation circles, do they? Got it. It's okay. The layouts of cities being big grids for transmutation circles. Too deep. Back off.
It's time. This planet of ours, have you ever considered the possibility that it might in fact be a life form? One that's retained its every memory since its inception and has witnessed the universe unfold. Just think of the massive quantity of information. How much power could one gain if they opened that system's gateway? Have you ever considered that? Think about it. And now to open the planet's gateway!
And y'all still talk about race. these forms at least, were all created. You want to say, oh, some were created different. Look, overall, if you want to be realistic, it's all light, which means you're no different from each other. If you want to talk about playing the game, yeah, there's a slight difference actually in the way the templates were laid out. They're technically the same, but genetically there were certain tweaks that were done with certain forms opposed to others to see what all would happen. And even with that, that's actually depicted in certain older manuscripts, older texts that are very expensive. You can't even get them. I mean, you could if you really wanted to, but they're very expensive. People overlook that. But it's fine. It's okay. I'm not one to shake things up, even though I have. Hypocrite! Oh! But, with that being said, I really didn't come here to make a long-winded video. I just wanted to say that it's time for you to not be shaky or bury at the whims of others or continuously look outside of yourselves for the solution when it really is deep inside. People are really starting to get to that point in their lives where I lived past lives before. I remember this in a specific way. What is going on? Okay, wait, whoa. This is too deep, too heavy. It's okay. Alright? Maybe there should be schools that actually help people understand and understand what all of this is and how it works. Talking about alchemy as well. Now, government organizations don't want you to know alchemy because there are specific forms of alchemy that can be damaging to not only them, but to the mass majority. And that's okay. Not everybody can actually, or scholastically, understand what all of that entails or how it works. So that's a good thing. So you don't have to worry about that, because that stuff is very deep and it's just as bad as physics. So most people don't really realize what physics is or how it operates or what it's talking about, describing the measurements. Like, it makes them go cross-eyed. But it's the same. Really, physics is just another form of alchemy, and not all of physics. Some of it is nonsensical, but, you know, a lot of this stuff is just alchemy. But they gave it a fancy name. Now it's science. Okay, sure. Now, with that, didn't come on here to make a long-winded video. Just came on here to give my little spew and be done. So hopefully you are living life to the best of your ability, not fearing a thing, discerning with wisdom, going with the flow. Okay, I can't stress that. Going with the flow, rolling with the homies.
Rolling with the homies. Oh, hi. Oh, don't cry. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
Alright. With that being said, with a smile on and positive vibes your way. For the light workers, keep doing your thing. For the chosen, stay on mission. And for those who know, let's get at it.